Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing one of the most important events coming up on Bitcoin this entire year. Yes, this year. As you guys may be aware, there is a cross coming up between the 50 and the 200 daily simple moving averages. That is called a golden cross. And as you may know, those are some of the most bullish signals that you can get from the cryptocurrency markets. I've personally only ever seen one in the entire time that I have been in the cryptocurrency space. That's how rare they are. Now look guys, you probably already heard from me or other YouTubers about the golden cross that's coming up in the next couple of days, but I implore you to watch this video anyway, because I'm going to be breaking down everything you need to know about this. I have a feeling you've heard little tidbits of information here, but if you want to actually understand what this is, why it's happening, why it's so important, and get some tips on how to trade it, I encourage you guys to continue watching this video all the way through. So guys, kick back, relax, grab your favorite coffee mug. Mine happens to say Mermaid at Heart on it. I am not ashamed in the slightest. And make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, but without much further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. You know, I find it really funny. The show notes for the YouTube channel has dive in all caps because I go like dive right on it. Okay, that's not important. What is important is that the Valentine's Day sale just started on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. So if you'd like to give the gift of information on the most profitable skill in the known universe trading cryptocurrency, I highly encourage you to give your Valentine the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. Why not? I think that's a good gift. Romantic, huh? Anyway, enough of that. We have a lot to get into in today's video, so let's go ahead and do that. Guys, as you can see, we have our 50 simple moving average on the daily chart right here, trending to the upsides that way, trending to the upside, and it's coming in and looking like it wants to cross this 200 daily simple moving average here in the next week or so. If we were to extrapolate these out, we would probably see the cross coming in sometime around the 17th to 18th of February, which is when we expected it to happen a few days ago when we were talking about this briefly in one of our videos. Now that's all well and good. Two moving averages are crossing. Why are you making a whole video on that, Jeb? Especially if you don't know a whole lot about golden crosses, you might think, great, two lines are crossing each other. So what, right? I'll show you so what. Let's look at the entire history of the cryptocurrency market and look at when these moving averages cross. The last time that we saw one cross was in April of last year. That's nearly a year ago was the last time that we saw one of these cross. We're talking specifically about bullish crosses right now, by the way. The last time we saw a golden cross was back over here in April of 2019. And the time before that, well, it was all the way back here in 2015 in October, right at the beginning of a bull market. And yes, we are going to be discounting these fake crosses right here and right here for the sake of this video. So the next time that we saw a bullish cross on Bitcoin, if we look back in history, was in 2012 in February. And there's a trend that you will notice for all of these golden crosses that we're seeing. Every single one of them happened at the beginning of a bull market. Right here, bull market formed. Right here, bull market formed. Right here, guys, guess what happened? A bull market formed. And yes, we will be talking about those fake crosses here in just a second since this is a comprehensive video. Not getting to that right now. When you have a real golden cross and it doesn't just cross bearish on itself immediately like we've had happen twice in history, when that happens, you are always starting a bull market with 100% accuracy. This will only be the fourth time in history that this has ever happened to Bitcoin. And by the way, I've been in the market for nearly 3 years, and this will only be the second one that I have ever seen. Do you understand the significance of this? So okay, moving averages cross start a bull market, but we already knew that. We were already in a bull market, right? Well, yes, I agree. We have already more or less started a bull market. We're above the 200 daily simple moving average, but that's not really the point of the golden cross here. The golden cross, as you will notice in these times in history, like right here, for example, it didn't start the bull market. It confirmed the bull market, and there's a very big difference there. The bull market was started because Bitcoin came down to important levels of support like the 200 weekly simple moving average back in 2019 and actually late 2018. We had already bounced from there and we were starting the bull market when that cross happened. Same thing was true back here in 2015. Bitcoin had already started an uptrend. Bitcoin was already pretty far into its accumulation phase when this cross happened. This was not a moving average cross that caused a bull market. It confirmed one. Same thing is true for the only other example we have in the entire 10, 11-year history of Bitcoin right here. We saw this golden cross and Bitcoin had already started its bull market. In fact, we were trending to the downside a little bit in a mini correction when it happened, and Bitcoin would go into rally for another 18 months or so, up to $1,200 for the first time. But why is that so important? Why is it important that a golden cross is a confirming indicator and not a predictive indicator? The reason is because we can already make a pretty strong argument that we're in a bull market. What we need to do now is confirm that bull market. We need to lock it in and say, yes, we are in a bull market because X, Y, and Z says so. We have a couple of those. For example, Bitcoin's above the 200 daily simple moving average. That is one of the confirmations of a bull market. Another one is that we're above the 20 weekly exponential moving average. That is another confirming indicator that says, yes, in fact, we are in a bull market. So, okay, golden crosses on Bitcoin are rare and important, and also they're confirming indicators of a trend that has already started the Bitcoin bull market, that being that trend. But I hear you asking, Jeb, what about those two fake outs you showed earlier? What about those? How do we know that this isn't going to be another example of one of those fake outs? I'm so glad you asked. Well, first things first, let's knock out the obvious one. This golden cross over here and subsequent death cross didn't mean a whole lot of anything because Bitcoin very clearly was not entering a new bull market. Even at the time, you would have been able to tell that with how Bitcoin had been trading sideways for a very long time, and also how Bitcoin was starting to get below some of its longer-term crucial moving averages, like the 50 simple moving average here, and how it was just completely straddling the 20 WEMA for support. This right here, Bitcoin holding that 20 EMA on the weekly chart, was the exact same thing that we saw Bitcoin doing with $6,000, where we came down and tested it again and again and again and again and again. This drawing is for one of the CT2A update videos, by the way. When Bitcoin tests the same level of support or resistance 17 times, it normally means it's going to break. So because of that, it's pretty obvious that Bitcoin was not re-entering a bull market right here, especially with what had just gone on in 2014 with the Mt. Gox hack, etc. The one that's more interesting to me, however, is the one that followed, because like I said, there are only 2 fake outs in the entire history of Bitcoin on this technical indicator. This one right here. So as you can see, the 50 crossed the 200. So what was different? Tell me, what was the weekly chart MACD doing? Well, first of all, I do want to point out that yes, this was a fake cross, but very shortly thereafter, we saw the actual cross come in on the daily chart. So yeah, this was a fake out, but honestly, it bears a lot of similarities to the real cross over here. Sometimes it's not so much that a fake out was invalid, sometimes it's just that it was poorly timed, and this one was just a little bit too early. Bitcoin wasn't quite there yet. I wasn't in the space in 2015, and I'm not an internet historian. Maybe something happened in the news. I can tell you something pretty big must have happened right here to cause Bitcoin to fall that quickly in one day. For any of you guys who were in the space over 5 years ago, please let me know. Like I said, I wasn't here at the time, so it's hard for me to explain that. As far as the technicals are concerned, though, one thing I want to point out is that the volume was quite a bit lower over here than it was when Bitcoin started the run up over here. Bitcoin had started to go parabolic here, crossed bullish, and almost immediately started trending to the downside. We just weren't ready yet. Bitcoin was very clearly ready over here to start a massive exuberant rally from about $200 to $500. And sometimes if the space isn't ready for a movement, no matter what the technicals say, you're not going to see it happen. So that, of course, leads us to the obvious question, is Bitcoin ready for a bull market at this point? And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about in this video. Because yes, I do think that Bitcoin is absolutely ready for a Bitcoin bull market. Here's why. First of all, let's do a gut check. Do we feel like Bitcoin is in a bull market, and do we feel like Bitcoin is about to start a rally? And yes, I completely understand. Technical analysis is much more than gut feeling and intuition. I'll get to that in just a second, but that's where I want to start. I personally feel, based on all of the analysis that I've done, I mean, that's not an unfounded feeling, that Bitcoin is in a bull market. We've gotten above the 200 daily simple moving average. We've gotten above all kinds of technical indicators. We've had all kinds of confirmation so far. I think it definitely passes that. Second, though, do we feel like Bitcoin can actually continue this rally? And you can't answer these questions through rose-tinted glasses. You have to answer these questions the way that the technical analysis is telling you. I will tell you, I'm a little bit skeptical if Bitcoin can start rallying past $14,000 right now, but I am pretty confident that Bitcoin can at least get there, and maybe the fundamentals and technicals will get even more bullish as the time goes on when we get up to that level. So we're about 1.5 out of 2. So we definitely passed the first one. Bitcoin's definitely already in a bull market, and I'm pretty confident that Bitcoin can continue it. But what about the actual tangibles? Well, I'll be brief on these because there's a lot of them, but one of the first things I want to talk about, just like I talked about in a couple videos ago, is the YouTube space. Guys, the YouTube space is huge right now for cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency has been exploding on YouTube over the last 2 years, and I've been lucky enough to be a part of that. There are all kinds of phenomenal content creators on the platform making videos covering this space, keeping you guys up to date about what's going on in the news and the technicals and the fundamentals and the regulation and everything. That is a very crucial part of any market. If there's no media coverage on a market, how are you really going to be able to trade it because you don't know what you're doing? You need to get information and ideas from other people. It's very, very healthy and a very good thing for the crypto space that YouTube is doing well like this. Furthermore, guys, as far as the fundamentals are concerned, backed. Look at this. Did we just go ahead and forget about this? I know there's not a whole lot of volume right now. There's only about 464 contracts, but this is huge. I mean, we've talked about this on the channel before, but the New York Stock Exchange, their owners, ICE, the Intercontinental Exchange, launching back in August, that is massive. And the next time that we see a bull market, this right here is going to be one of the biggest on-ramps. Not to mention companies like Fidelity are stepping into the space and many others. Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve that controls the United States dollar, the most powerful currency in the world, and as CCM put it, probably the most powerful man in finance, said that digital currencies are a threat to the United States dollar. The most powerful man in finance acknowledged the speed and scale in which digital currencies could disrupt the dollar. That's coming out of his mouth, not mine. On CoinMarketCap, we're seeing the dominance crash. We saw dominance up around 70% back in August and September. It's now down to 60. That means that confidence is returning to Bitcoin because valuation is returning to the altcoins. That happens at the beginning of every bull market. And last but not least, guys, interest in the term Bitcoin is starting to rally again. As you can see, we're up to about 40 on Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin has spiked hugely up to 65, which is one of the highest levels that we've seen this entire year. And the search phrase, what is Bitcoin, has also been trending to the upside and sitting around 50 right now. And the cool thing is, look at the chart, guys. All of this happening on Google Trends and with the Federal Reserve and with Bakkt. All of this is happening before the golden cross. The last bull market that we had, this little mini one right here, all of these technical and fundamental developments, they happened after the golden cross. They didn't happen down here. They happened up here, which means that we're having all of the fuel loaded into the plane before we even take off. The last time we were like getting mid-air refueled or whatever. This time we are set. We are ready to go. We got the afterburners on. We're about to take off. We just need to see this golden cross. So with that said, that brings me to my last point. How do we trade this, and what does this actually mean for Bitcoin? What is this going to do in the short and the long term for Bitcoin? Well, guys, obviously in the long term, this is going to be a bullish technical indicator. I don't think there's even any questioning that. But as far as the short term is concerned, I want you guys to be aware that sometimes golden crosses don't immediately result in bullishness. Sometimes the golden cross can drive hype and hype and hype and hype. And then right now, Bitcoin's a little overextended. We need a bit of a pullback, in my opinion. This golden cross happening could actually drive Bitcoin to the upside up until the cross and maybe a couple days after. And we could actually see a bit of a correction to follow as the hype dies off. Bitcoin is in a great position to enter a new Bitcoin bull market right now, but quite a bit of this is built on FOMO. I want to see more inflows of cash. I've talked about that in many videos. So as Bitcoin continues closer to this 50 and 200 cross, we might see some more run-ups. We might see Bitcoin trading at $11,000 or so when it happens, but immediately thereafter, we might see a little bit of a correction. So don't necessarily expect Bitcoin to just moonshot short-term because of that. Long-term, we're looking great. Short-term, though, be wary of a correction. I've been saying this for a while. Bitcoin looks very healthy right now, but we haven't had a major correction. We haven't pulled down to that 200 weekly exponential moving average, which is very important. As you can see, during previous bull markets, Bitcoin would pull back down to this moving average, and we haven't done that yet. That's not to say the bull market is invalid because Bitcoin hasn't had a correction yet. It's still very young, but I would like to see a correction down here. Just realize the long term looks very bullish, but there might be a short-term correction coming up in the next couple of weeks. That'd be very healthy for Bitcoin, actually. And guys, as usual, I have left the best for last. You see this vertical line over here. You probably already know what that is. That is the Bitcoin halving. As you guys can see, we're about 87 days out from the Bitcoin halving. The estimated date is on the 12th of May. Of course, the halving will result in a 50% reduction in block reward, and what that means is that less Bitcoin is going to be inserted and injected into the space, which is thereby going to drive the price of Bitcoin up. When this happens, guys, this is going to result in long-term bullishness. So we're having a 5,200 cross. We're having a halving coming up. We're having the regulatory space looking fantastic. Having the YouTube space grow. We're having more interest come into the space. It has never been a better time to be in the cryptocurrency market. But with that said, I do want to say a few things. One, never trade based off of one indicator. This is something we talk about quite a lot in the first cohort. Always back up your trades with your intuition, multiple technical indicators, and historical analysis on Bitcoin. Never trade because of one technical indicator. I don't care if it is a golden cross. If a golden cross comes at the wrong time, as we've seen, it cannot matter because it would be a fake out. Those two last times that we saw golden crosses, Bitcoin wasn't ready. We're ready this time, but make sure you're aware of that. And one other thing, guys, that I've noticed is that we just need to stop and smell the roses more. I know that sounds simple, but I've really come to understand the importance of that over the last several days because I've gotten in this mode where I work really hard on the channel. I mean, you guys don't realize this. You might think I just sit down and record a video and I spend 20 minutes a day working. That is far from true. Over the last weeks, I've been working 50, 60, 70 hours a week sometimes because I'm trying to grow this channel. I've worked 14-hour days on stuff behind the scenes, taxes, the CT2A update, research, development, everything. There's a lot that goes into this channel, and I've started to realize that, you know, for me anyway, my fulfillment doesn't just come from working, it comes from working for something. Are you living to work or are you working to live? I took the camera, the Sony a6400, out to San Falasco, which is a park near where I live, yesterday and recorded a bunch of B-roll for a short film we're working on. And I just realized out there how beautiful the world is and how much I should be thankful of that I don't really think about a whole lot. Like the house I live in, I was thinking about this. Not a whole lot of people have a decent place to even live, and I do, and I'm very thankful for that, but sometimes you forget about it. So just remember what you're thankful for. And remember to be thankful for Bitcoin, because we are very, very lucky to be in the space this early on. I'm very unlucky that the ISO on my camera doesn't like cooperating. That's why I'm looking like this. I'll fix that in the camera settings after the video's over. Anyway, guys, I've got another one of those really busy, really great days coming up, so I'm going to go ahead and dive on into that. Got to go fill up my Mermaid at Heart coffee mug again before the first cohort live stream. So, guys, that is almost going to wrap it out for today's video, but before I go, I do first want to remind you of the sale that we just started on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. By the time this video goes out, the new TradingView video will be uploaded here in CT2A. You will be able to go to the CT2A website and preview that video. That video on TradingView, it's over 30 minutes long, covers everything you need to know. That video is going to be available for preview. So if you want to see what kind of quality videos are going out to CT2A, I'm very happy with this video. You can click the link down below and you can see that. Watch the entire video to get a glimpse out of what's coming to CT2A. If you want to get access to CT2A for $159, the cheapest that it will ever ever be. This is the last sale that I will be doing at this price point before the price of CT2A increases. This is your last opportunity. This sale will be running for a few days. After that, it's gone. Taylor is putting 8 to 10 hours of video into editing these, and I'm putting several hours into making them. There's probably going to be 1,000 man-hours in updating CT2A, so please understand that course price has to go up because of the sheer amount of quality that's going into this. As always, guys, the link and the coupon code are down below. Make sure to put in that coupon code at checkout so you get your $40 off. And also remember, we have a 14-day money-back refund guarantee, and yes, we do take payment in Bitcoin. Please also check the Discord server down below and talk to some of our students. I encourage you to go talk to some of our students and see what they have to say about CT2A. But anyway, guys, that is actually going to wrap it out for today's video. Before I go, though, I do first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.